The midterm elections are around the corner, 18 days from right now. And the central question remaining isn't just who will win Congress, whether the Democratic Party will remain a legitimate political organization or become something else entirely. Elements of the Democratic coalition are becoming radical. Some are threatening violence, some are advocating violence. Others are taking the next step and engaging in violence. Even the party's leaders, those with the deepest ties to the establishment and the most to lose, are suddenly saying things that would have been unimaginable just a year ago. Here, for example, is Nancy Pelosi. Watch her explain that people will be hurt in order to achieve the Democratic Party's goals, and that's okay. Watch.
We have to have total clarity about what we do when it comes to everything. A woman's right to choose, whether it's about immigration, whether it's about gun safety, whether it's about climate. We didn't even talk about climate. And if there's some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it.
Collateral damage. She's talking about you. Your collateral damage in Pelosi's remarkably direct calculation. Thanks for telling us. You're one of those people in the way. You're an inconvenience who will be crushed beneath the wheels of progress when it comes right down to it. Well, you're one of those infamous eggs that must be broken to make the world's greatest omelet. Just today, by the way, a New York man called Ronald DeRisi was charged for threatening Senators Chuck Grassley and Susan Collins with death. Why? Because they dared to support the Brett Kavanaugh nomination. They were in the way. So did the woman in this video. She was in the way, too. She made the mistake of wearing an NYPD hat in the presence of a leftist. Watch what happened when she did.
Why are you trying to block me? I'm trying to walk here.
I obey traffic signals.
You're a snarky little idiot. Shut the up.
Try something.
I'm not going to punch you. I'm not like your husband. I'm not going to punch you.
I'm not married.
I'm not like your boyfriend or your cop boyfriend who's going to knock you out, so don't worry.
My husband died in 9/11.
Good for him. Good. Good. Those NYPD were a bunch of sodomizing immigrants with their bully sticks. So yeah, your husband probably should rot in the grave.
I'm glad your husband died in 9/11, says a representative of the youth wing of the Democratic Party. Ann Coulter has been watching moments like these for the past 3 years and writing about them. Her new book is called Resistance is Futile: How the Trump-Hating Left Lost Its Collective Mind, and she joins us tonight in studio. Ann, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So what does the Democratic Party look like 19 days from now? How do they put this all back together? They've showed us who they are. What are they when the smoke clears?
I wouldn't judge how they do this fall by assume that these comments are beloved by the people. I mean, I think people have to remember a blue wave is the historic norm right now. It's very possible they'll take control of the House. Luckily, and I think a lot because of some of the things you just showed, and of course the reaction to Justice Kavanaugh, it doesn't look like they're going to take the U.S. Senate. But they ought to be having a huge blue wave, and they probably won't have it because they're insane. They've gone mad.
But the people who run the party, who are vested in it, I mean, the people who hold office or who, whose livelihoods depends on the Democratic Party, I mean, they must be getting nervous because they can't control their base.
No, they do this all the time. I mean, they did it after Ferguson. In order to help the Democrats win an election, they are willing to gin up race hatred, as they did after what happened in Ferguson. They're willing, at this point, after Kavanaugh and continuing until the election, to gin up mentally ill women. And they can't control them. I mean, once they've done it, they just walk away. And you have, I mean, you've seen the statistics on the Ferguson effect written about by Heather McDonald, among others, that the rate of blacks being murdered went up astronomically after Ferguson, and particularly in cities where there was an alleged police racist shooting. Incidentally, I've noticed that police suddenly stopped engaging in racist attacks on black people once they started wearing body cameras. You notice how they just sort of went away?
I did notice
the
that.
ACLU is actually suing some cities to make them stop wearing body cameras because they keep getting caught making false allegations of a racist cop, as a Princeton woman did. A Princeton professor made a false allegation of a cop racist stop, and there was a body camera. Utter complete lie.
Does the Democratic Party ever become the Democratic Party of 2012 or 1998, or kind of a party concerned with, economics and something other than identity politics?
It doesn't look like it. There was an interesting article. You won't hear these words come out of my mouth very often. In the New York Times this week by Thomas Edsall, breaking down all of these polls and how the Democratic Party has changed. And it is, I just noticed it looking at, or remembered it looking at Nancy Pelosi. White liberal women have just gone off the charts on left-wing craziness, and it has nothing to do with economics. The Democratic Party, as some of us kind of noticed during the Clinton era, that was when began during the Clinton era, just abandoned the working class, abandoned the flyover people. It is pedal to the metal on identity politics and the yuppie lifestyle. It's basically the
moms
party
in
of
Marin and Georgetown.
Yuppies and welfare recipients. That's the modern Democratic Party.
That's never been put more crisply or truly. Ann Coulter.
Thank you.
Resistance is Futile is her excellent book. Thank you.